Hello, everybody. Welcome to my online seminar. Today, I'm going to talk about selling a house, how to do it the best possible way, what strategies exist, and what basically you need to think of and take care of while while going through that process. So my name is Lana Ryboy, and I'm a realtor working with the GLA Realty company. I've been in real estate for almost 4 years, and I'm a top producer at my company. So I absolutely enjoy doing that. And I have 2 degrees in my background. One is in marketing, so I'm a specialist. I'm a market research specialist. I also have a degree in psychology, which really helps to better understand my clients, listen to them, and give some advice to help them go through everything. So the plan for today's, here's the first slide, it's introduction, which I just did. So we're also gonna go over home selling process, and I will explain all the steps. And then if you are here with me right now, I will be happy to answer your questions. If you are reviewing this presentation and like a recorded presentation, just feel free to send me a text message or shoot me an email. I will be happy to talk to you and answer your questions later. So what I have realized for myself when describing all the steps of home selling process, it's a lot of things I need to go over. So I have divided the home selling process into 3 phases. So I will talk about all 3 of them to you. So the first slide shows you the first phase. So what we're gonna start with is planning. First step is to find a realtor. People ask me a question all the time. Can I sell a house without a realtor? Yes, you can. You have absolutely, you're free to choose whether to do it with someone or by yourself. There is no legislations on that. And you can do whatever you think is better for you. So if you know the process, if you've done it before many times, you may be lucky and successful in doing everything by yourself. There is a lot of paperwork, a lot of things to do, but it's a normal process. Many people do it. Actually, statistics says that 8 out of 10 for sale by owners, that's how those people are called. 8 out of 10 end up with a realtor, but there are 2 out of 10 who sell it by themselves. And I'm not going to stop you from doing whatever you think would be more efficient for you. So if you would like to do it by yourself, I still might answer some of your questions, but if you would like to work with me on your sale, of course, I will be advising and do a lot of job for you. I will be spending my time, money, and all my expertise on your transaction and all the steps, all the process. So again, finding a realtor doesn't mean you have to work with one realtor, of course, it's better to go and check how people work, whom you feel comfortable to work with. And I do recommend to talk to different people, interview different agents, and see who can work better, who does more, who pays you more. I mean, who pays more for their service, who wants to charge you for some additional service. So you just need to calculate how much it will cost you. There are different types of commission splits nowadays agents are working with. And of course, you just need to compare. So talk to a few different people, see what they do, pick up the one that would work better for you. So once you know whom you want to work with, You need to sit and talk to your realtor about your current situation and what are your plans, what is going on, and what you want it to look like. So you need to develop a sales strategy, make up a timeline, what and when you want to happen, how this should happen, what you want. Do you want to spend more money or less money? Of course, everyone will want to spend less, but what would be the end? What would be the result? We can always check the area time lines for other sales and see what they may offer to you. I mean, what happens, what may happen. We can always check how you want to price your house: higher than the market, in the middle of the market, lower than the market. It all depends on how fast you want to sell, and just develop a strategy how you want it to go: quickly, slower, with more effort, with no effort on your side at all, because sometimes we're in a situation when you can't spend time or money on preparing your house, and then it's a just different type of activities and different type of things. Me as a specialist, as a realtor, what I can do for you to provide you with the best service and try to get more money for your house. So whenever we know the timing and the strategy we would like to use, how we want to work on the sale of your house, then I can go and present and perform a marketing analysis for your house. So what is that? Basically, what I will do is I will go and look through all the data at the market. So what's going on in your area with the houses, how much they sold for, how long does it take them to sell, what are the general condition on of the economy. What, like right now it's a pandemic time, so things work quite differently. Houses may stay for longer because it's just hard to go and see them. We are limited on that end. It's less houses on the market. It's less people going looking at them. So the market is slow. Again, it really depends on many factors. What the sale price will be for your house. So I will analyze all the data, look through the history in the last few years, what was going on and why. I will show you the information on how other houses looked like, what is the average condition of the house in your area, what things or what features sell better in your area, and what makes the houses stay for longer. So we would be able to avoid some mistakes that other people make. Especially is important to look at the houses that didn't sell or stayed on the market for a long time, for months or years, to realize what were the mistakes. So again, we can avoid them in future. So whenever you're done with, I think, wait a second. I have a question. And like I said before, we have a group chat. Whenever you have a question, feel free to post it there. And we're also gonna have some time at the end of my presentation where I would be able to answer your questions. So is it really worth to remodel the kitchen? If it's an older home, bathroom had a recent remodel, but kitchen is original. So again, talking about remodeling the kitchen, what I recommend to do, just look at the houses that were sold in your area, not in last just few months, just look at few years and see what was sold. You can look at the picture. I can pull out information about past listings, send you the pictures and tell, hey, this is the kitchen with the house that was sold in 3 days. And this is a house with this kitchen, bathroom, or whatever, which stayed for longer. It might be some other factors, not only the kitchen, that made these houses stay in the market. But normally, if you go through like 10, 20, 30 listings, you look at them, at those pictures, you get a really good idea what is the average condition of the house in your neighborhood, which people are selling. So the average means that you can combine your house with those. if houses with older kitchens really stay on the market, then it might be a sign that people who are looking in your area, they want to have a remodeled kitchen. What kind of remodel? Good point. Sometimes just repainting might be enough. Sometimes just granite might be enough. Sometimes granite and backsplash are needed, or repainting and granite. So it really depends on exact case, but market analysis will show you all that. Do you really need it? Look at other houses, compare yours to them, and you'll have a better idea if you really need it. I will talk later about it as well, because how and who else can help to realize, do you need it? What do you need to do? What colors or what materials to use? I work with a professional stager who comes to your house and check everything. And my stager explains what materials you need to use, what you need to do, why you need to do it. She explains why. That's a big thing, because like the lady I work with, she's been in staging full-time job for more than 10 years. So she knows what people are looking for, what sells really well. Of course, you can also look at those pics on those things on pictures, but working with another professional to hear their opinion is a big thing. And you don't have to listen to them, but at least for information, it's better to have it. If you would like me to look at some of your pictures or give you information on your neighborhood and share my opinion on that, I'll be happy to do so. Just let's talk about it after the presentation. So I will look at your information. I will look at your neighborhood, and we'll share my opinion with you. That's not a problem for me. So after, I will go back to my presentation. For now, again, if you have any questions, put them in the group chat. I hope I answered this question already. But if you want more information, just put it there or text me later. So I will come back to my presentation. And we're on the phase 1 and still planning on what and how to do. So after analyzing all the market data, we can come up with a price. And what the price can be. Again, market is like, there is an average on the market, and then there could be higher pricing, middle pricing, and lower prices. So depending on where you want to put your house, it might take longer to sell, or it will sell faster. Of course, if you're somewhere in the middle, it's just a matter of market conditions and number of buyers on the market, how the house will look like. But if you price it higher, we might see a little bit different outcome. There should be reasons why you put it on a higher price, and I can talk to you about it in more details if it's your situation and explain it. But again, right now I'm trying just to explain some basics and general stuff. If you put the price lower than the average market, like middle pricing for your neighborhood, you might expect multiple offers, which in many cases is what we want to have, because we want people to fight for your house. So it becomes a sort of auction. So people put bids and want to pay more to get your house. And it would be easier for you later on to negotiate, because people know that I'm lucky getting this house, and there is a line of people behind me who wants to get it. So they would be more negotiable. The buyers would be more negotiable. So meaning they would be, they will accept some things better than in average, like in other situations. So once we have decided on what kind of price we want to put in a house, we gonna move to the next phase, and it's phase number 2. Again, I have prepared. I would be talking about 3 phases. That's how I normally present the sale process. So the first phase was planning, and planning on what and how we're gonna do, and the second phase is exactly preparing the house for the sale. Just one second. Da. Sorry, my kids are home. And even I tell them all the time that we need to, I need to work and I can't talk. They always come with something. Sorry about it. So second phase, I start with a consultation with a stager. Like I said earlier, it's a big deal. It's a big thing to talk to a specialist about what your house look like, and consult to a specialist. Like I do bring a stager and I pay for the stager services, so you don't have to pay for the stager's consultation with me. What a stager will do, a stager will go with you around your house and will make a list of things to do per each room, per each area. So she will tell you what things needs to be removed or rearranged or moved to other places, or placed in garage or in a storage. She normally, if something needs to be repainted, the stager will tell you that this not gonna work, this sells, it doesn't sell, or these things really sell well. She will tell you what colors to use for your specific area, because things may vary from house to the house and neighborhood to neighborhood. But again, you will get a list of things to do, and the details may be like looking at the shelf. She will tell you, okay, remove this book, this. On this shelf, there would be these 3 books. On the next shelf, this would be this vase. And on this shelf, I will bring you something else. And the stager, she could bring you something extra if your house is missing some decorations. But it's another thing I'll talk, we can talk about it, because it depends on your exact situation, what you need to do. If it's an occupied home, again, staging of an occupied house is different than a vacant house. But I also bring a stager for vacant house staging, especially for consultations, what and how should be done or look over there. So a stager is a big for each house, because you will have a list of, because at the beginning people don't know what to start with, but then you have, okay, for this room I need to take this out, leave this in this corner, this in that corner, put this painting in another room, and I'm good. She tells you what to do with your yard, what to clean out, what to put in. And again, you don't have to do everything the stager tells you to do, but you will get an idea what will get sold better in your area and how your house will look better on pictures. Because the way we live is completely different from the way we sell houses. And your house more likely would have to look different when you sell it. And your lifestyle would sort of be changed by that process. It is hard. It is first of all, it's emotionally hard. And again, the stager helps. I do my best to help, because again, I'm a psychologist. I try to listen and advise on all the emotional difficulties you go through. So once a stager is done, she gives you a list of things to do. And me and you, we sit together and make our own list, what we will do, what you can't really afford to do, or you can't do it physically or emotionally, whatever. So we make our own list of things you would be really doing. Of course, if you can do everything, it's the best. But if not everything, we can adjust that list. It's only your decision how you want to perform. I just give you an advice, a stager gives you an advice, but you are the only person who makes decisions through the whole process. And a lot of things will depend on you, but again, I do my best to explain why things should be done a certain way. I explain what options are, what will follow through this or that option, and you make your decision. So the next thing we need to do is to prepare the house. So, and go through the list of things the stager told you to do. If it's something that needs to be removed from the house, that's the easiest probably. If it needs to be painted, you will have the number of the color actually. So you just go to the store, buy painting, and if you can do it by yourself, do it. If you need to hire someone, then we just follow the procedure. If something needs to be replaced, like granite countertops to be placed somewhere, we can talk about it and try to find a solution if you can't do this. Once everything is done, it depends on the situation on the house, but normally I invite the stager for the second time. And she comes before the pictures. She comes to make sure that whatever was done or whatever is in the house, it would be rearranged or adjusted best possible way, so it looks pretty on pictures, because we want the pictures to be perfect. The pictures attract people's attention, and it's the first impression. You can't make a second impression. You need to do your first impression the best possible way. So again, stager, they look at the things differently. I look at them as well, but I like to bring a person for a second opinion, and it always worked greatly. So once the stager says we're all good, a photographer comes. So I do hire, actually I do work with a team of professionals. That's my approach. I hire a professional stager, I hire a professional photographer, I do use a professional designer who does virtual staging for me, who does virtual renovations for me. Because if you were not able to repaint the room, we can do it virtually and show people how it will look like with a different color. Because one of the biggest problems I see with the seller or with the buyers, it's hard for many of them just to imagine how things can look differently if you use different furniture, or if the flooring would be different color, or if the bedding would be different color. Again, imagination, when you see houses, it's just, you need to show them examples. So that's why I really like virtual stuff nowadays, and it's a great tool for selling houses. So talking about current situation with quarantine and high risk of getting infected with this virus, realtors started using lots of online and virtual tools. What it could be: first of all, I do a 3D tour for my listings, and I see some other agents do it more frequently. Basically, it's like a tour that you can do on your own. You click the button and it brings you into the house. So you can walk around and see how they look around on your computer screen, and get a very good idea of the floor plan, of the sizes of the things, of the colors, and just get a better feeling of the houses you are about to make a decision whether you want to go inside or not. Because we want to reduce, like as sellers, we want more people to come and see our houses, but at the same time we want those buyers to be serious about purchasing this home. So 3D tours and good pictures and video tours help to sort those buyers, and those who are not really interested in your house, they might just take a 3D tour and say, that's it, I'm good. I don't want to go and look into the house. And others who like the 3D tour and everything else, they will come. But it would be less live showings, but it would be, the quality of those buyers would be much higher. So I do recommend to use nowadays tools. Right now, there is even a virtual open house just made available by Houston Association of Realtors. So I can do virtual open houses on my listings, and just basically everyone who goes on HER through the certain link can contact me, and I will go around the house and show people everything. So they don't have to come there. They can use my eyes, my camera, and ask me questions while I'm there. So virtual open houses, it's a new tool. I haven't used it yet, but because it was just launched like 2 days ago, but I'm very excited, and I hope I would be able to use it on my listing that comes up next weekend, Katie. So I'm very excited. All right, so once we have everything ready for our listings, I mean, the 3D tour, the pictures, the video, all other papers were prepared because there would be like this amount, like this stack of papers we would have to fill out, it like agreements between agents and sellers, a lot of paperwork, lots of informational forms. But once everything is clear and everything is ready, we gonna go online and prepare the listing and make it active and start marketing it. So what could it be marketing? Again, many things go online, and we need to do a lot of activities there to make this listing visible to people who might be interested. Of course, all the websites will have information about it, but you know, people stay online on Facebook, on other social media, and we need to make it available and visible to them over there. So I do advertising on social media, and again, it's a great tool that helps to bring more buyers in. Other marketing activities, again, we used to do follow-up, or I mean open houses. Nowadays it's a little bit different, but we still do virtual open houses. I know a lot of agents, and I work with a company like it's about 1,000 agents we have right now, like 800 or something. I do inform all of them about my listing, and they're the first who would be bringing their potential buyers. I advertise it among my friends and groups I am a part of. I'm very social, and I know a lot of other people, so I do my job on that end, and I just try to distribute information about my listings everywhere because we want everyone to know about your house. It's available, beautiful, nice place. Once everyone can see your house, of course, there would be people who would like to come and see it. So after a person came to your house, saw it, and left, what we want to have his feedback, or her, like this buyer's feedback. We need to follow up and get their response. What did they like about the house or didn't like? Do they want to make an offer? Is it on a list of their preferences? Why yes, why no? So follow up is a big thing. And I really enjoy doing that because I'm always excited about what people do think about these houses. And having the feedback really helps to adjust. Sometimes we need to adjust the price, and it's a very big and hard question. Sometimes we just need to, I don't know, remove the curtains from few rooms to make it more bright and put the light in. It could be many things, and feedback really helps to understand what we need to adjust about our house to make it look better. Agents do advise on those to each other, especially agents from my company. We always share our opinion what can make the house look better. People who come to see your houses, they also talk about your house, and then I ask their agents what your buyer said about the house. Did they like this, that, what they didn't like? And all the information is useful and could be helpful. So this was a second phase when we were preparing the house, and the next phase is we are looking for a right buyer. So of course everything starts from the showings, but showings is good. During the showings we can still proceed the preparation because we can improve something. What I mean by these words, looking for a right buyer, not each buyer who makes an offer on your house is the right buyer for you. Especially now in this quarantine times, I see that some buyers are trying to take an advantage of this situation and get really low ball offers on houses. So because they think they might be able to get a great deal, and it might be true, it might work, but again, there's sometimes if you are not in critical need of the sale, there is no always. I think you need to just take whatever they offer. And the right buyer means that this person offers you a decent price, and the other thing, they follow some rules and some just ethic rules and procedures when they when they negotiate on certain things, because people are different. If you don't feel comfortable working with the buyer, you feel offended or whatever, in some cases, again, not always, but in some cases, you don't have to follow all of their requests, because maybe, who knows, the next buyer would be better. Lots of things to discuss and consider, but to find the right buyer is a big task. But once you have an offer on your hands, you negotiate, there's lots of things to negotiate on a contract, not only the sales price, lots of other things too. And it might take days to come to some point where everyone agrees on terms of the contract. But anyway, you negotiate an offer, and once everyone agrees on the terms, you have a contract on your hands. Once we have a contract on our hands, we move to the option period. And during the option period, the buyer will inspect your house. So they will hire, that's inspections you see on my slide. So the buyer should hire licensed inspectors to go check if everything in your house works the right way, is made the right way, and there are different codes they would be addressing to. Sometimes we may agree, sometimes not, because codes are changing all the time. If the house was built in 70s, there's lots of things that was grandfathered from those times, which nowadays is like would be considered as not safe or not up to current codes. And there's always some room we can negotiate over here and say that this is code grandfathered from those times, or maybe not. And then we start talking about, is it safe or not safe? So lots of things we negotiate during inspections. But anyway, if the buyer found some issues with the house, they may try to lower the price or make you fix something in the house, and that's normal. You may say yes, you may say no, you can agree on something and disagree and say, no, I'm not gonna do this. But we can always find some solutions and find a point where everyone agrees. So the next thing is appraisal. Appraisal, what is it? If the buyer is getting a loan to buy your house, there is a bank or a lender. I'll call it lender. A lender wants to make sure that your house is worth of what the buyer is asking for it. I mean, asking a loan. And this lender or a bank sends a special person, a hire special person, an appraiser, to make sure that the house is worth of the amount of the sales contract. If the appraisal comes back matching the sales price, great. If it's higher, great. But if it's lower, we would have to renegotiate and see what we can do, because if the person can't get this money from the bank, we need to fill the gap somehow. Either the buyer would have to add some cash, or the seller would have to reduce the price. Again, it's negotiable, and it's another very nervous moment. So appraisal. The next thing is like repairs. During the inspections, again, there were some issues revealed, and you may agree whether you want to do it or not. But once you realize that you want to make sure that this buyer will proceed till the end of the transaction. So on one end, yes, it's great to fix everything and just forget about what you had to do. I mean, not forget, but just put it like marked done on your end and just then sit and wait. But on the other end, sometimes if appraisal comes lower and the deal falls apart because we never came to some sort of agreement on that, then what? You've done your repairs and no one needs them anymore, because some repairs could be, you know, might be reasonable, might be not. If you agree, then you agree. So anyway, I suggest to do repairs closer to the end of the transactions, because then you kind of make it more safe for yourself. At least I know getting results of the appraisal might be a good point, but sometimes appraisal come late. So again, it's a lot of things to consider, but repairs just it depends on each situation, and I talk about it during the transaction a lot, when and how you can do this certain things. Repairs should be normally done by licensed contractors, unless you have agreed with the buyer that it would be done by you or someone else. So once we have the appraisal in, wait a second, I think I'm missing one step over here, sorry about that, but there should be a title commitment, and it's not on the slide, but title commitment, it's a document that comes from the title company, and title company is a company that takes care of all the paperwork. They do verify the history of possession, so they check if you have legal right to sell this house to this person. And once the title company says everything is fine with the house, everything is legal, no liens, nothing on the house, they give a title commitment, and the bank wants to see it, because once the bank get the appraisal and they know that they can lend you this money because the house is worth of this amount, then the bank wants to know that, hey, this house can be sold by this person, it's all legal and all good on all ends over there. Then the bank says, cool, I can give you money for this house. And then goes the final approval of the mortgage, and everyone have a happy dance, because it's a very big moment in our transaction. And once we get this final approval, we are basically ready for the closing. And yes, you need to do the repairs before that as well, before the closing, and present the evidence that they were done. So once everything is good, we get a closing. And nowadays it might be tricky because we don't want to gather with too many people, and not only closing might be tricky, because normally a closing, it's few people sitting together in the same room, signing lots of papers, talking, because the closer from the title company explains you what each document means. We're trying to keep social distance now and not to gather in the same room. So I've seen closings at the parking lot. I see virtual closings and all other cases going on around. But we always need to find a solution for your case and see what would be a better option for you. So how you want to perform a closing needs to be discussed up front, because we don't want people to get into close contact during the closing. Not only during the closing, whenever inspector comes into your house and you live in the house, again, an inspector, it's another person. So remember, we need to go and be very careful before and after people come into our house. Like what I bring to my listings nowadays, I bring a box like that where I have masks. I buy it for my listings. I provide everything for safety of the showing. So I bring masks, I bring gloves, I bring hand sanitizers to my listings, I bring Clorox wipes, and I put sanitizers and wipes at all entrances. So whenever people go to the backyard, they can come back and sanitize your hands. If they want to use Clorox wipes for all the switches and all the handles, they would have this, they would have all the tools they need. So Clorox wipes is a great thing. And I do request all the buyers to come to your house and have a mask on and gloves on. So I bring this box on things in whenever they don't have anything with them, they can use something that I have prepared for them. Because again, I want you to stay safe. And it's a big thing nowadays. So for showings, lots of precautions. For inspections, I suggest go sanitize everything after inspector was in your house, because inspector checks everything. And yes, inspectors use masks, and they have gloves and everything, but precautious. Whenever an appraisal comes in, say same thing. Whenever you need to do the repairs and some contractors come in, same thing. Just we need to be very careful. And all those requirements and I place online for each agent who brings a buyer for a showing. One more thing, there is a special form we can use nowadays requesting each visitor who comes into your house to fill out. And basically, we want to know if they have been sick, if they've been exposed to sick people or traveled somewhere. That's the form I ask everyone to fill out, because we're trying to be careful. And before letting anyone in, I want to have their paper saying that they are potentially at a lower risk of being sick. So that's my presentation. And again, stay healthy, stay safe, try to be careful with everything. The last slide of my presentation shows my contact information. And now it's time for questions. So please let me know if you have any questions. You can place them in a group chat, and you can text me or email me with any questions. I'll be happy to answer them, and I'm always open. I'm happy to share my opinion on things, and I'm just willing to help other people to be happy and healthy. Yeah, so I'll wait for, okay, I see a question over here. What is the impact of coronavirus on the length of houses staying on the market? Well, good question. In most cases, since the market is slower and it's more hard to go see the houses nowadays, because it might take more time, and many buyers are just afraid to go out. I have those. I worked with them, and I totally understand them, because I try to minimize my contacts with other people as well, just whenever I can. So having less visitors means less possible buyers are reviewing your properties, and of course this might make the time just longer potentially, unless you make the house more attractive for them. How you can do it? You can make it a great deal for those people. How you can make it? It's mostly about the price. You need to adjust the price certain way to make it a great deal for buyers. So many buyers will say, "Oh, what a deal! I need to get it." That's one of the things you can do. Otherwise, if you want to stay where you are, like in the middle price or higher price for the market, you just have to wait. You would have to wait. That's what I was talking about at the beginning, that some buyers are trying to get an advantage of current situations and get a lower ball offers and get those great deals for buyers, not for sellers. Of course, this pandemic is on buyer's side, because it's less buyers, and sometimes they can just be really rough on negotiations and go on that. What is the impact of Corona? Okay, county appraised the market value of home at 350. Investor offered us 250. Why such a big gap? Because they think or they hope that you are in high need of selling. Again, other thing, appraised value has nothing with the market value. I have another seminar where I talk about home protesting, and that's the place where I explain it in more details. But again, market value is different. It comes out of the current or like previous sales. We look at last few months and see how the houses were sold, how much for. We look into the past, like in last few years, and we see where was the peak of the sale in this neighborhood. So we kind of know, okay, Spring is the time where houses sell really well in this area, so we'll go for that. Or like the average price was like 350 for these houses with this square footage, bedrooms, whatever. So whenever we see that the market value is like that, we took into consideration the past sales or current sales, current condition of the market. When we look at the appraisal district numbers, it might be a completely different mix of factors. It can be market condition, current market condition. It can be the fact that you have some exemptions on your home. It might be homestead exemption, veterans exemption, disability exemptions. Depending on what kind of exemptions your house had, the appraised numbers can be much lower than the market numbers. Again, it depends on your on your family situation of the owners. And the third factor is whether you were protesting the taxes for your house in last 10 years. Because if you were protesting every year trying to reduce it, you more likely will have lower numbers than most of your neighbors. And normally this number would be lower, not normally, but in most cases, your number would be lower or even much lower than the market price. So I recommend not to look at appraisal numbers when you go for sale or you go to buy a house. You need to look at the competitive market analysis and do the market research of current market to see if the price is valid, if it has something behind it. So answering your question, they offered you 250. This means they are trying to be lucky. And whenever this situation happens, you know what? If you are selling for 350 and you get an offer for 250, let's imagine the situation. You do not take their offer, but what you do, you go and change the sale price, not to 250, but to 300, and see what happens. Maybe when you reduce the price for 20 or 30,000, you will get a bunch of buyers who wants to get it. So at the end, you might get 300, but not 250. Why not? And I'm not trying to say that, yes, this should work or you should do that, but let's just think about it. So should you take low ball offers on your listings? There are other strategies you can try to use. And not only this, there are multiple other ways you can work around those things. Just it depends on your situation. If it's a question about the house that's already on the market, go talk to your realtor about what can be done, why it's happening. Can I use this, or how can I react? Maybe if you've been getting many offers on your house which are lower, maybe this is a sign that your house is overpriced, or maybe this could be a sign of that there is a lot of flippers or investors who are shopping in your area. Again, it depends on the situation and on your house. Lots of things to look at, but the best source of advice over here, again, if your house is right now on the market, would be a realtor, because they probably have done some research before placing your house on the market. So they might know about it more, like about exact situation that you have. So I hope I've answered your question. If you have other questions, please put them in the chat. And I know I like to answer questions. All right, so it looks like we have no more questions for now. Well, then I have to say thank you one more time, and thanks for your time. Thanks for joining me. And please let me know if you have more questions. You don't want to put them to a group chat, email me or text me. If you're thinking about selling, let's talk about it. Let's see what we can do. And thank you very much. Have a great weekend.